Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be making some pieces of ephemera for use in my sunflower / bumblebee summery journal. I'm working in a massive mess. I have items all surrounding me, piles of paper, lots of bits and pieces, so I am going to be using some of those up today. And also I just wanted to apologise if you hear all kinds of shuffling in the background. It's just me rummaging through all of this craziness. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to do was to create some kind of pocket, which is also a big journaling space with some paper for writing on. And I'm thinking of using this piece, so I've already had a little think about this. So let's find a suitable area to stick it. Right, I'm finding that a bit too bright, so I want to dull it down a bit with this brown. Okay, so I'm going to cut that about there. If I can remember where I just said. Something like that, wasn't it? Just chop the edge off. So usually I assemble a journal before I decide to decorate it, but for this journal I've decided I will just try and go for it and do a bit of decorating as I go. See if it makes any difference, see if it makes things easier, because obviously you can take it apart and put it back together again. It's just all a bit of an experiment really. I'm going to round those corners so that it looks like it's supposed to be there. So that's going to be stuck down inside like that, but then it's going to be a pocket. Now I want to add this little flower, which I fussy cut yesterday. That was from the paper pad that I've been making some of my pages, and it was just a random flower on, it had been cut off the top of something and it just didn't look right. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this to decorate somewhere on there. So let's measure this up. We've got 197mm by 126. So to take a centimetre off, I'm going to make that 187 by can't do the maths. 119mm. What was that? 187 by 119. Right, let's check out the side of that and see if it's going to fit how we want it. Okay, so it looks like I did measure it right, but I don't like the amount of wood. I want more of a border there. So I'm going to take another centimetre off each edge. And that should give us a centimetre border all around. There, that's better. It's more purposeful. What I have realised though is that I don't like that yellow background being with this. shall we do something with a jazzy border? Yes, so I'm making it for this page. So we want to round those corners to match the border top sheet. And then that's going to be stuck as centrally as possible on top of there. What kind of glue do I want to use for this job today? I think I'm just going to use my tape runner. This is a 6-2 tape runner. I sell these in my shop if you want them. I managed to break this one somehow. That will do for now. Not perfect, but hey. Oh, that's worked nicely. And then that sunflower can go down there. And that just adds a little extra detail. I'll use tacky glue for sticking this down. Right, so I found a journal card, just tea dyed. I sell these in the shop as well. They are just plain white journal cards they're made from 300 GSM cards, so that they're really sturdy. And I like to use them as my base for journal cards. I'm just going to trim those down. And then I've got this little scrap of sheet music. I'm going to use that jagged edge and then trim it down. And for this I will use some Mod Podge. Use the, whoa, that wasn't on very well. The matte Mod Podge for this part. Now I'm not overly careful about doing this because I like the texture that you get when you place a really wet piece of paper on top of another. So I'm just going to trim those down to meet the edges. And then I'm going to have this little bee. Well, at least I'm going to attempt to fussy cut him and place him on the edge there. There we go. Right, how's he looking? Is he going to make it? Yes, I think so. Out of the way before they get involved. I should have flattened this, but never mind. And I think what I might do is just get a marker. Oops. Oh, see, this is the mess that I'm dealing with. It's just everything everywhere. It's my own fault. I should clean up after myself. But it's time that I could spend crafting. I think I might have just ruined the bit by colouring these bits in. Taking away some of the detail by doing that. I'll make it look like it's on purpose. That'll do. We're just going to look closely at it, are they? Well, you never know. So that just gives that a little bit more interest. I feel like I say that word all the time, but yes, that's what it is, it's interest. Just zoom you out in case I lose sight of what's going on there. Then I had a little tab. Now let's see if I can find where I put it. So I made this with my Cricut machine. I'm going to be selling some of those in the shop eventually. There are some in the, what do I call them? The goodie boxes that I've made. So if you're desperate for some, you can go and order some of my goodie boxes, or just one of them. It's got all sorts of interesting things like bookmarks and cabinet cards and journal cards, tags. I even made some little paper flowers for them. So I'm going to stick that on there, and then that will just allow it to be pulled out. Of the pocket. Right, that needs weighing down. Mod Podge is always handy to weigh things down. Right. Now it's time to stick this down to the page. So we still want this to be functional as a note card as well as a pocket. So what I'm going to do is just flip that and glue those three sides. Plenty of glue, because it's going to see some action, this pocket. Probably anyway, with people pulling the tab out. So you want it to be well stuck. That looks good to me. And that's going to go in there like so. And then when the book is closed, you'll have a tab popping out of the side. So better be careful to make sure that that sticks down. Let's pop that under there. all have different ways of weighing down our items when they're getting glued. Next thing that I want to do is make a little notebook. So I'll use some of these scraps. I'm going to use this one to guide how big I want to make it. It can be one of the pages. Okay, I'm just doing this with scissors because I don't want it to be perfectly straight. I want this to have a nice shabby look about it. And this will just give whoever uses this journal some extra space to write little notes or stick more private pictures that you don't want to have out on display. That should be enough there. Just want to have a cover as well. Let's see what we've got kicking around. Doing this. I think I might need to make something bigger with that later on. Not that. Aha. Oh, the width is perfect for that. Let's fold it. So you can see I've cracked that paper because I didn't approach it very well, but that's fine because I'm going to cover it with fabric anyway. Okay, I'm just going to use the trimmer to trim those edges off. You can feel where the other papers are underneath and make sure that it's bigger. You always want the cover to contain the papers that are underneath. I feel like I want another kind of paper in there as well. I just felt like it needed that to look more like it was on purpose. I'm going to leave those edges squared off, but I want to ink this next. So, Distress Ink Vintage Photo by Tim Holtz. Just going to give that a kiss of the old vintage look so that it ties in with the rest of the journal. I'm doing down the spine, but I don't really need to because that's going to be covered with fabric. So I have this scrap, which was from a fat quarter, just an Aldi one I think it was. I want the raw edge of this showing, so I'm just going to pull some of those threads. Oh, sorry about that. So the annoying thing about the pattern on here is that it's not perfectly lined up with the threads. So what I mean is, this should be a straight line, not this, if you see what I mean. So we're going to have that overlapping. I still would like a few more threads out if I can. Can't grab any there. That's fine. I'm just going to do it like this. And I'm going to try and do it without glue. Just push that all the way in. Overlap that. And then stitch it through there. Okay, I'll be back in a moment when I've done. Before I go and stitch that, I will show you, if I can, what we've ended up with here. Sorry, I confused myself there about where the pages are going to go. So it's the centre page, goes like this, and then the centre is behind there. So this is our nice large side loading pocket, and this is our journal card to go in there. What do you think? Does this need some stitching? Oh, might need to paste that down once again. So that slides in. And just leave it hanging out slightly so that whoever purchases it knows that it's there. And when you close it up, you'll have a little tab poking out. So that also divides up the book if you need it to as well. So say we're making it a monthly journal, you could have your month written on there and have tabs for different things. Or you could just use it as a place to pull your way through the book. But I like that idea anyway, I think that's nice. I'm going to have to do something about this little lip that keeps catching. So that is one thing to keep in mind when you are doing decoupage, that you need to make sure. I was going to use some Mod Podge, but I've decided to use tacky instead. But you need to make sure that everything is smooth when it's going to go inside the pocket. Should smooth that down enough. Right, do I want stitching? I seem to be stitching an awful lot in this book, and I didn't want to go overkill so that everything, so it looks like I've got no new ideas, if you see what I mean. So I think I'm just going to leave that as it is for now. Oh, ink, that's why it doesn't look finished. We need a little bit of ink. I should have inked that pocket as well, but it doesn't look bad on there. And then that will just make everything look like it's supposed to be there. Sorry. I really need to tidy my desk. There. That's just a bit more tied in with everything else. go. There you go, see? It's really simple, but it just makes a nice nifty little thing to go inside your journal. You can write notes, add pictures, or just glue in little pieces of ephemera that you find. Lovely idea, that. I can't even remember, it's one of those things that I saw just, you know, when you're scrolling through Instagram absent-mindedly, and it kind of stuck in my head, so that's why I've done that today. So yeah, as always, let me know what you think in the comments, and please subscribe to my channel if you like what you see, and I shall see you next time for another video. Goodbye!